Alright fellas, here we are back in Pokemon Masters from Pokemon Masters Hot Takes. Buddy. So I actually did make this little community post here asking people to put in hot takes. So we'll see what people's probably bad opinions are. I'm kidding. Jeez. Okay. Anyway. I guess let's just head into this. Sure. See if I agree with these or not. This is just for fun, mostly. And the fact I didn't have any video plans. Because I'm bad at my job. Oh boy. Oh boy. New character appearances are cool, the lack of Pokeferals like Sigma suits won't make Twitch before at least every year. I could see that. Honestly, the fact that they keep making so many friggin' new characters, like especially Paldea, or even, I guess you could say Galar related, not Galar, well yeah, Galar, like freaking Kabu, but also Hisui related, even though we've gotten very few. The fact that most of like all of our recent Pokefairs have been new characters and not alts is so weird. It's like character, Signasuit, character, alt, character. I mean, like, all the way back until Signasuit Pierce. Like, between Signasuit Pierce and Elion Celine, there was no new alt character as a Pokefair. It was just all new characters. I don't know why. Well, okay, I know why they're doing it, because every character's gotta be a Pokefair now, but whatever. Well, their releases are being handled so badly. Only one true free-to-play unit in general, too many supports. I can see that. I mean, though at the same time, I feel they're also just trying to really pump out Paldea characters to get the category, like the teams or whatever built. Like, I guess, like making the theme seal actually strong, even though they are pretty much refusing to do the same thing with Pasio, but it's already got a crap load from the main character. But I think I agree with that statement on there being too many supports. Like, support Paldea characters, we got 9. Strike and Tech, we have 6 combined. Sprint Field, add those in there, 11 total after, like, 7. So, we have, what, 13 of the 4 roles and then 9 supports? Yeah, that's honestly kind of fair. But let's also be fair and say that we got 2 of them that are Lodge characters. So, I mean, do those count? No, not really, but still, doesn't matter. Archiros will be half anniversary, please, I hope so. As a concept, Field's over Sprint, but unit quality-wise, I feel Sprint tends to be far better, though Sprint is as silly as any EX roll, especially on, like, Suit and Nemona. That's true. That's just true. I honestly think that Field characters, like, as a concept, do tend to have better... they can be better than Sprints, but I think they're really, for some reason, I feel like they hold back a lot on Field characters, though there are obviously good examples of Field characters as well. Like, but just to, like, point out ones, I mean, these are good. These are good Field characters, honestly. Emmett's a good Field character. Avery's good, quirky, but really good, though. So, honestly, I mean, maybe, I think they've honestly started building Field characters better, but honestly, though, at the same time, outside of these 3, a lot of these Field characters actually struggle to do their job of setting Field. Like, again, Mixed Leaf and Mixed Blue and Mixed Red are good as individual characters and pretty good at their role setting ability, but they're not really that great in terms of being a Field character. Like, they literally only set it off their max move and their sync move. Mixed Lucas is good. He's got 2 sets of ground zone and off the sync move as well, but also at the same time his sync move is lacking in damage, but he does get some decent utility from it, I guess. Emmett, again, pretty much the same problem as the Mixed Scout units. He only sets it off his max move and off his sync move, right? I believe so, anyway. Tierna's good. He sets Sunny Day, has MPR, and he sets it off the sync move, but it's a damage challenge unit. He's got himself his own little qualities. Almost all of the other damage challenge characters don't even set it. They just set it on entry and on sync move, which is not good. So, I mean, yeah, I could definitely see the issue with those characters. I'm not going to cover the rest of these. 6 was always good. People are actually just being... we're just gonna move on. There's too many. Okay, look, there's too many to try and go over just one. Thank you. Yes. Okay. Sprint is the worst role in the entire game and are straight up worst tech units. Stronger sync nuke is better than some sync countdown that only activates once. By extension, Sprint is the worst EX roll because it's only really good on supports, and every non-support would be better off with any of the other EX roll effects. An extra field effect, AoE sync, stronger sync, or an extra sync buff is better than an extra sync countdown. Even then, there are some supports that would have been better with field. True. I would probably agree with Sprint being the worst role, though at the same time, not to like counter this point or whatever, I do like how a lot of sprint characters are built just naturally, even if they were like, I guess if you were to keep all of their kit properties and make them tech, yeah, obviously they'd be better, but at the same time, I like that they were built around being sprint sometimes. Like in Cena's example, I like her sync countdown, especially, I just honestly really like I like this passive so much. It tends to work so well for me, especially if you combine it into her sync countdown, with being a sprint character post first sync. I mean, you can basically get to your next sync move pretty much instantly, which is really funny. Same thing with Sigma Suit Wally. Sigma Suit Wally would have technically, I guess you can say, been better as like a support character, like having his EX roll B support wherever he is. But at the same time, he also has so much sync countdown innately, like off of Mega Evolving, he's got Head Start 2, has -2 sync countdown there, he's got, doesn't he have Adrenaline somewhere in the grid? I honestly don't even remember at this point. But you can run like Adrenaline as a lucky skill or whatever, and Wally pretty much himself, just by himself, gets all the sync countdown to then get to his next sync move, which is really funny to think about. I just really do enjoy that. It's super cool. Super fun to use as well. And I actually think, I remember talking to some people about this, but Champion Silver specifically, really appreciates the Sprint EX roll because it actually enables him to get his sand in at another sync rotation instead of it like wearing out too quickly. I honestly think it's a good role for him. It actually works quite well, and is better than, if depending on the team, you can say obviously tech or whatever is better, but like in terms of like a sand setter on his own, the Sprint X roll actually enables him to go from his first sync move, which sets sand, to then get another sync move and then another sync move under sand. That's actually what the Sprint X roll enables for him quite well. But anyway, I could agree. I mean, I could see it. Like, this tech field, all these other roles just have way too many good abilities. Though at this point, this comment can again go in conjunction kind of with this one, where Sprint is, like, in terms of effects, the worst role for sure. But honestly, a lot of field characters have just been built worse than Sprint characters, which really sucks. Yeah, and Sprint being the worst EX role most usually is the case. I mean, it's just not usually that great. Thunderbolt Red is a top 10 sync pair. This is even really a hot take, I think. I don't know. I don't really care to think about top 10s considering you're trying to encompass every role, and that's just not how this works. But, like, I mean, I could see him. I mean, I could see it, though I do think Red's fallen off really hard. Not really hard, sorry. Let me just... in terms of Ultimate Battles, he's fallen off. Recent Ultimate Battles, he's kind of fallen off. But at the same time, not really. Like, they've developed quite a few number of gimmicks to where these Ultimate Battles just want so many gimmicks now. They're not just, like, check their small gimmick, debuff them, and then you're good to go and do a bunch of damage. But they've just got too many gimmicks now. I think that's one of the bigger problems, is, like, if you bring Thunderbolt Red to Dana, like, he can do something, but you also have to basically bring everyone else to kind of cater to her gimmicks of setting Hail and Ice Zone, and debuffing accuracy. Like, those things you just gotta constantly be dealing with. But, I mean, I can definitely see him still being a top 10 character. I would have to, like, think about every single character in the game, but I don't really care to do that. It's fine. Electro Raccoon? Yes, thank you, channel member. Yes. Everyone should do this. I'm kidding. Jesus. We will never have too many ults. Steven, we already have too many. I don't necessarily agree with that take on the surface, but I do think that people... Okay, I'm going to be honest. Yes, Steven has 6 characters. We're not counting Lodge. Come on, get out of here. He has 6 characters, and one of them is with the same Pokemon, or 2 of them are with the same Pokemon, right? You know, Arc Suits, blah, 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 I got the room thing. But I think, honestly, that a popular character having a lot more ults than a less popular character is fine. People complained, I remember when people were, you know, raging over the 5th anniversary, you know, whether it be justified or not, and it doesn't really matter, that I saw quite a few comments saying, oh, why are they doing these big champions again? They've already had anniversary headliners, they've already been, they've already got a ton of ults or whatever. It's like, do you expect them to put, like, Flannery, Gardenia, and friggin' Chuck as headlining anniversary characters? Ignore the fact that Chuck literally released in the anniversary month. But, like, are you expecting them to be anniversary headliners or something? Like, come on. They were building up to this the entire time. They were building up to these champions getting something. Most people thought it would be a boost instead of an actual new sync pair with their Pokemon. But, like, you should have expected this. The game's been going for 5 years. These are popular characters. Popular characters are well established. And the primary point of this game is not to cater to your feelings, not to cater to you getting your favorite trainer in Pokemon combination. It is to get money. That's the whole point of this game. It is to get money, and you should not expect anniversary headliners to be, characters that may or may not be popular. Like, I mean, we have had diverse anniversaries before, like, Anniversary Steven, Anniversary Lily, and Anniversary N, good region diversity, all popular characters. It was good, it was the first time, Then third anniversary was Ash, Red, and Cynthia. Cool. I mean, we had gotten a Cynthia all that earlier that year, but, like, still cool for the most part. And Champion Kanto Trio, which, that is honestly my personal issue, is the fact that Red specifically gets a ton of anniversary stuff. You can complain about Cynthia and Steven all you want. Or not Lance and Steven. Not even Lance. People weren't even... I honestly think it's not fair to complain about Lance, because fucking Lance didn't get anything for like 3 years straight. But Steven and Cynthia hadn't gotten an all at that point. Let's just search against Steven, because these are order of release date. Steven's last character was his friggin' special costume. 2023, March 31st of 2023, Arc Suit Steven. August of 2024, a year and a half later, literally a year and a half later, is when Steven finally got his next alt. Come on, that is a relatively long wait. Cynthia, it took 2 years. 2022, August 30th, August 28th, 2024, 2 years for Cynthia to get her next alt. Come on. You can't complain about this. You can't. They had put their cooldown. It's not like they were spamming these popular characters. Like it's not like they gave us a Cynthia and a Steven every single year. They, at least to this point, they actually waited and then dropped their big hype new characters, when it had been a very big cooldown period for them. Come on. I don't think it's worth complaining about. And also too many ults of Ash. Poor Ash fans. Poor Ash fans. Sigma Suit Nemona gets overhated because of the existence of Sigma Suit Gladion. She's essentially Nia Champion Nate. I don't agree with this. Do I agree with this? No, I still don't. There's a big difference between Nate and Nemona, in my opinion. I'm not going to say who's better between each other, but you could probably compare them. Thing with Nate is that he does not have consistent damage output. Scale Shot is garbage, and his outrage is once per sync cycle. Nate makes up for it in the fact that he's got a really, really good sync nuke. Haymaker, sync move up here, speedster sync, like you can run critical strike, he's got unconditional crits, so he doesn't have to worry about, running soften up or anything like that. Nate works really well off that. He also sets his own Dragon Zone, so you don't have to worry about that, and he's got a great partner in, obviously, Arc Suit Lance. That's a very big one. Nemona struggles because her offensive stat is quite low naturally. This is her max investment at 400 attack, which is fine. Her sync nuke is only Haymaker and this passive, where she's missing a whole 50% multiplier over Nate, and that's not good. That's just not good for me, in my opinion. And also, she lacks... Her big form of damage is off of Charging Sun and, whatever other multipliers, like saying the Paldea Circle. Those are, her multipliers and her big ways to get damage. She sets that by having to actually use Sunny Day, which gives her physical moves up next, which is cool, but it's not unlimited, and it's also not extended, so you are actually really missing out on a lot of damage with this character, especially also because her main form of damage is only 165 power. Even if it is not lowered by multiple targets, this power is not that crazy, considering she does not have, other forms of big burst damage. I would honestly go as far as to say Nemona is a Pokefair tier character. I honestly just think so. And Gladion is just insane. I mean, his damage is just straight up better. People overshadow Nemona because he's in the Signature Gladion. I don't really agree. It's just because Gladion, is better. That's just how it is. He is just straight up better. And Nemona does not really offer anything that you would really want, that the pure damage that Gladion can provide can overshadow. Setting Sun is good, and there's gimmicks in, obviously Nita, Argento, whatever, as ultimate battles. Those are good gimmicks, but at the same time, that Sun does not enhance her so much to the point of where, okay, she's now extremely dominant. It just makes her damage actually passable. At least that's how I'm actually getting it with how I use this character. Plus, her EX roll sucks. They're both very EX rolls suck. Maybe the biggest thing you can say is that Gladion's sync move's not that great, but at the same time, he's got a better offensive stat, and he's got a reason to use his sync move for getting the buddy move NPR here. or not NPR, but this is, the restoration of the buddy move, which is actually just nuts, ludicrous, insane damage. His damage is just better than Nemona, and that's just how it is. And her being compared to Nate, I just don't think it works, because Nate actually just has a better nuke, and his real struggle is with actually doing consistent damage, whereas Nemona's struggle is more so not not really even doing enough damage. Which I guess you can say is both of their struggles, but I don't know. Either way, I don't think Nemona... Is she overhated? Maybe, I don't know, but I can see why she needed to be a bit better, at least whenever it was the 2 fairy type strikers releasing in the same year. Visually, arc suits don't look that bad for what they're meant to represent. I agree. I love arc suit sync pairs. They look so cool. They really do. The arc suits, I get how people can call them like a reprint or whatever of like, you can't even pull like a picture of an arc suit character up. Let me pull up images of an arc suit sync pair. So let's just go with, sure, I don't want to pull up any fan art because of what all that entails. Ads, I hate ads, but okay. So this is the trailer for Cynthia, sure. Okay, really? Thank you. Okay, so if we want to compare her design to actual Cynthia, I mean, yeah, obviously it's meant to look the same. That is the whole point. But you gotta at least look in Cynthia's case. She's got the cut-off sleeves. She's got the big cool cut here in her, I don't even know what you call it, fucking cape, basically. She's got the cooler pants, like instead of just having like straight black pants, they've got the yellow seam, right, which is sick, right? I mean, this design, yes, it's obviously meant to look like her actual outfit, but it's also at the same time meant to look like it is imbued with the essence of arc suits. That's the point of an arc suit sync pair, and I just think it does work, especially because it's got the gem here, which is then like trailing off into these other like gold effects. I think that these arc suit characters like actually are designed cool, and not even to mention the fucking halo is sick. You can mention whatever you want about an arc suit sync pair having like reused characters and like Pokemon rather, and animations and the 500 scout point stuff, but I don't think you can really call arc suit sync pairs, for what it's worth, I don't think you can really call them visually like reprints or whatever. I mean, I think they're fine. Finally, beat the tough of Extreme Battle. Congratulations. Champion Hop is the worst sync pair of the game lore-wise. Complete character assassination. Oh well. I can see what they mean. I don't know. I don't remember a lot about that event story-wise to actually make a big opinion on that, but I think they mean, like, obviously the fact he looks like Leon, right? I mean, that's kind of how it is. I get what they... I kind of get it, though, because it's like Hop's whole character arc was that he doesn't really want to be in his brother's, like, footsteps anymore. He wants to do his own thing with Pokemon Professor, being a Pokemon Professor, a researcher, all that stuff. And, well, him having his champion all actually look like Leon and all of that, it kind of takes away from that purpose. I can see it, though at the same time I think that wasn't really their intent. I think it was more like a nod to how he wanted to be and how he actually has just gotten stronger and naturally, and like despite the fact that he was aiming to be a champion, he actually got stronger in pursuing what his actual, I guess, goals were of being a professor. I think that could be something you could kind of tie into like being this a little bit better of a, like a bit of a lore for it. I don't know. I can see the point they're trying to make, though. You have a sync pair 5 out of 5 that has Super Awakening and pull a copy. Should be awarded with Super Awakening candy. Cold take. A lot of these takes, to be fair, have been pretty cold. But, yeah, this is just how it should be. You should be able to get... If you pull a dupe of a character at 5 out of 5, you should get Super Awakening level 1. That's just how it is. That should how it be. It always is. I think everyone should put that in feedback. Submit that as feedback. All that, please. That'd just be better for everyone. Gladiol's base unit would have been better paired with Meowscarada or Oranguru. Because the Masters of the Skies could be instructive game breaking mechanic, which doesn't fit him nearly as well. I think I don't think it really matters. I mean, I could see it, like, it's fine, I guess, but I don't know. I think they honestly gave him Quaquaval just to try and sell him better. Which they could have done with Meowscarada as well, but I think they're going to probably just give that to a protagonist. And the Oranguru just would not do that same function. I don't know. I mean, sure, probably. He probably would have had some better better cohesion with another Pokemon than Quaquaval, but Quaquaval makes plenty of sense anyway, being a starter, and being, like, not the professor, obviously, because the professor's dead, but being just that kind of character role, I guess you could say. I guess you could honestly put him in that same type of role. I don't know. Battle Rally is the most boring game mode. It depends on what you consider, honestly. Like, if you're just counting, like, weekly content, like the Champion Stadium Battle Rally and Damage Challenge, sure, I guess you could say that. I honestly find, if we're going to include all game modes, though, I find the high score event more boring. It's just not fun to me, but I know a lot of people like it, but that's just my opinion. But all of this is really opinions. Sigma Suit Misty is a great situational unit. For what situation, though? I guess so. I mean, I can see her having great use in, like, battle challenges and obviously legendary arenas and stuff like that. It's just, you kind of have to dumb down your expectancy with a character. Like, I don't think she would be... Let's say this. I don't think she'd be that great versus, like, Morgan's Ultimate Battle, where, like, you would really want to have those debuffs, for example. Does she even have Impervious? Let's just put that example out there. But it's like, if she has Impervious, then I might just bite my tongue on that. Smart Infliction, Propulsion on Mist. Turns the target's race stats to normal. Stat Reduction Defense. Stat Reduction Defense is nice, but that doesn't help with the on-entry stuff. So there's a big issue there. Her situational stuff is fine. I would probably agree. Like, I could obviously see her situational abilities being good, but it really depends on the content you're fighting. Like, again, Battle Challenge, I could definitely see that being good for. Like, an Ultimate Battle, probably less so. There's just better characters to bring. There are some seasons that go seriously underlooked because of Pokemaster Arc Suit fairs. What do you mean by that, though? Kind of need a little bit more detail. Do you mean kit-wise, or do you mean, like, outfit-wise? Because, I can see all of those being true in some regard, but at the same time, let's just take up the most extreme example. We had the release of Champion Red in August of 2023, God tier Ice Striker, best ice damage dealer in the game, and then, we got Palatine's Candace in February that following year, and, she just isn't as good. She has solid utility in different niches from Red in some senses, but just for the most part, ice damage versus ice damage, Red's going to just be better, right? I just think that's kind of how it is. Though I want us to be fair here and say this has definitely not always been the case, because you can take a look at back in the day, New Year's Licia was an amazing fairy damage dealer when fairy just sucked, right? If we want to look at fairy, before that you had Diantha, Summer Lyra, and Valerie. Diantha this was pre-EX roll and Great Expansion and Super Awakening and all of that. She was just not good. Not really that good at all. Summer Lyra and Valerie just sucked. Licia was really good. Licia, it was extremely good, and she remained extremely good as your best, like, premier fairy-type striker until, it's it released a Sigma Suit Gladion, right? So, I think that's fair to say. And same thing with Summer Liza here, who is really good still. Really solid as a flying striker. It's just, for the most part, a lot of times now you don't want to use flying strikers because you have Champion Sharon or, like, Anniversary Skyla after all of her buffs and whatnot. Those characters just kind of tend to be better. But, like, at their release, these characters were, like, the best in their role, or best, like, of their typing in terms of being able to do damage, for example. And I'm sure there's other examples in terms of, like, maybe supports or techs or whatever. So, like, I don't know. I don't think this is always true. But, there definitely can be cases. But at the same time, they definitely make a lot of seasonal-ish characters usually tend to be worse than, like, Pokefairs or whatever, just in terms of kit quality, or at least they're more, like, quirky. But I also now want to think back and say this is doubly less accurate, because we have just gotten 3 pretty damn good, universally pretty damn good seasonals. Poppy, really good steel character. Replacing Adoros or Lily can do so, but obviously that's more so like a summon value type thing versus a literal free character, where Lily's going to win every time. Raihan, you can say, is, like, not that great or whatever. I can see his things, but I don't really want to get into Raihan's abilities. It's fine. I'm not really going to discuss it. But, like, you can't really debate between Lily and Bugsy here. These two characters are really good. Just straight up. They're really good. Lily's got a ton of good damage, a ton of good utility, great damage challenge prowess. Bugsy's just a really, really good support to actually enhance bug types and be effective at enhancing bug types for the most part. These seasonal characters are really good, and I don't think there's too many people actually denying that. So I don't think I would agree with this too much. Super Awakening should have been given to actually weak replace units that got power creep, like the base roster and lower rate gacha units. So many Pokefairs are extremely solid, but with power creep, so they have niche use. Meanwhile, Scalaswana was a superior, at least in Rotom, or more just they're being outclassed and left to rot. Yeah. I mean, this is another cold take. Y'all, I said hot takes, not cold takes, but, like, I agree. Super Awakening should have been given to these units. I've said this, I believe, for a while, that Super Awakening should have been given to only, if they were going to give it to only Pokefairs, they should have only given it to older, outclassed, not good Pokefair characters. That's just how it should have been. They should not have given Super Awakening to every single Pokefair they released. That takes out the point of it being a buff. At least in my opinion, because the way this is going to go is these characters are all going to come with Super Awakening now, and old characters, they're going to get outclassed again, eventually, or they already are, because not everyone's Super Awakening is even good, let's just be honest. And then we're going to get another way to buff characters, and that's going to be another way to upgrade characters and make them good. That's probably going to be going for every character again. It's not a good cycle. There are way too many methods to actually buff a character in this game, way too many resources you have to invest in order to actually make some characters, be viable, which I guess you could say is fair because they want to promote newer, easier/better releases that require less investment, but at the same time, it's like, you want to have these older characters still be able to keep up and not have new and old characters all have 30,000 different upgrade methods. Like, for example, Mela, let's go into it. So, she's got her level cap, her EX roll, her move candy investment, her Super Awakening, her lucky skill, her theme skills, her extra grid energy, and if we want to take that, because these are all just Pokefair characters, we want to take that a step further, then you can take a look at an older Pokefair, I'm not going to pull one up, but like Cynthia, who has a horizontal grid expansion. Right? Just as an example, there are too many methods of upgrading characters. Super Awakening should have easily just been given to older characters. I mean, it would have obviously been really good to have them be for free characters, but at the same time, in the same vein, I think that they should have just given these characters, I mean, Elise is going to get one, but like in Skyla and Rose's case, should just be given grid expansions. I think grid expansions are a good way to make characters good again if you were to give them right quality kits. And I honestly would go as far as to say a lot of modern buffs are not that good for the characters. Like, let's take a look at Lisa, who's getting her buff this month. Like, these buffs are good for her to make her better, but it does not make her, like, at all anywhere near a top-tier damage dealer, top-tier anything for Dragon. It just makes her a usable option, and mostly just legendary gauntlet food. That is pretty much it. Very, very little stuff she can provide otherwise. But they could have made her good if they made her tiles just so much better, right? They could have combined a lot and made her a lot stronger. It's just, but it was not going to ever happen. And if you want to say, oh, these are free buffs, they shouldn't, they don't have a reason to make them as good, you don't have to make great expansions free. You can do something that makes a great expansion, take something to do. Like, let's say you have to beat a stage, let's say they unlock a new resource that's actually required to unlock great expansions, and you get this resource by, like, exchanging in the Battle Rally shop. I'm not going to say make it freaking pay to win, but, like, you actually have to work to get this buff. That's more of an incentive to make these buffs actually good, is that, well, now players don't get them for free, they just have to actually unlock them. Anyway, bit of a tangent. I agree, pretty much, almost entirely. Whatever. Arc Suit Sync pairs should have been special awakenings for certain characters. Getting to 10 out of 10. They would have had a reason to make it so pulling characters with Super Awakening unlocked just give their respective Super Awakening candy. One Piece Treasure Cruise has a Super Ball feature where you can take a weak unit like Liffy all the way up to 5 gear with enough resources. I mean, we want to compare another example. We got friggin' Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle, which has Extreme Z Awakening and Super Extreme Z Awakening, which are just basically free buffs as long as you can beat the stage. But I mean, I can agree with this. I mean, Super Awakening, Arc Suits should have just been Super Awakening. I don't know if combining Arc Suits and Super Awakening would have been a great idea, but I mean, I can definitely see why people would want Arc Suits to not be new premium limited units. I can see that for sure, but that's not really I don't really tend to care too much about that, but yeah, I think Super Awakening should have just been easier to unlock. It should be easier to unlock. I hope it's made easier to unlock, but I'm not going to cross my fingers or anything like that. It's whatever at this point. Arc Suits were a good idea. I agree. I mean, I think Arc Suits are a good idea, but I also think that, again, they have bad traits that go along with them. I mean, just because of I guess, modern game issues, you can say, right? Like, we want to look at Arc Suit Lance. I like Arc Suit Lance specifically the most, just because Lance needed something, but at the same time, reuse Pokemon, reuse sync move animation, the 500 pity scout points, you can say that's not good, right? That's for sure. That's fair. I think that the reuse of Pokemon is not that big of a deal, because I like them being with their aces again, and being in, actually good sync pairs, but that's neither here nor there. You can definitely make an argument otherwise. Super Awakening would have worked really nicely on Spotlights instead of Pokefairs. Does not overbuff Pokefairs. It gives an actual buff needed to Spotlights. Gives people a reason to pull for Spotlights. And an actual reason to have more Spotlights. And makes the unit get their money when players still get the unit. I actually can see that. I actually like this idea. Again, why are y'all releasing fucking cold takes? Like, the hottest take we've seen is probably something like this. But, this would have been really good. Yeah, like, if you were to actually have given Spotlight sync pairs Super Awakening and then put Super Awakening candy on Spotlight banners instead of Pokefair banners, I can see people who would have been upset, because that would further, strain the amount of resources between summoning on banners, because, like, obviously Super Awakening candy just added more value to Pokefair banners, which a lot of people would summon on anyway, but, putting that on Spotlights changes that, and I could see that issue, but at the same time, it actually does legitimately give value to pull on Spotlights, and it makes Spotlight characters be potentially really good, depending on how good their Super Awakening is. Like, imagine if they took, for example, what is an older Spotlight? I mean, let's just take a look at a General Pool character. General Pool, 5-star. Like, let's look at an older General Pool character, Olivia. What if they gave Olivia, like, Haymaker, Inertia, Brawn, Sync 5, and then, like, ramming speed 9, or some really stupid shit, or something as like an Arc Suit passive, or not Arc Suit passive, but like a Super Awakening passive, and then buffed her stats and whatever else, and like made her just stupid good, right? Like stupid, like I'm talking higher tier Pokefair up to Master Fair level of ability. Like they could have done that and made these characters stupid good, and again, still need that premium resource to summon for, right? So I could honestly see that being good, but it depends. Anyway, I don't care about high score events or damage challenge. I only do them to get the points and gems. None of y'all release hot takes. Yes, this is how everyone plays, man. Come on. Not to say it's a bad point to make, but like everyone does this. I mean, there's so many people who only go for 1 million damage challenge points, or 200,000 high score event points, or 10 wins in a legendary gauntlet battle, or just 15,000 champion stadium points. A lot of people do that. A lot of people just do the bare minimum for the good rewards. Yeah, that's just not even a hot take. Everyone does that. like basic. It's only like the top 1% that actually go for anything higher than that. Anyway, Legend Gauntlet's best game mode promotes team building. Yes, I agree. I honestly agree, just because it actually promotes you to use your other characters that are not good. The only problem that I have with Legendary Gauntlet is that it takes way too long to plan and actually play through. That is easily one of its biggest issues. I wish there was a way to mitigate that, but at the same time, I don't really know how they would do that. Super Sparring is the best effort to reward ratio in the game. 500,000 gets you all coins and such. It's pretty handy. I mean, for the Super Sparring, I can agree at that as well. Like, you can go brain dead as a free-to-play player and do full free-to-play setups like I've done and get all of the rewards super easily. It's actually crazy. Yeah, Super Sparring does offer this pretty good. High score event's not good. 200, okay. High score event I can see people liking, but also at the same time I can see people not liking, because it's easily the hardest game mode to actually... how am I going to word this? It's not that tough, considering most people are not going full free-to-play teams on it. You're going to have some limited unit of some type or whatever, or some really good character that can carry your points. But it is definitely the hardest out of all of them to actually get that minimum reward, and it's also, after that point, the rewards are just not that great, at least as opposed to... Super Sparring rewards aren't that great either, but like the Legendary Gauntlet rewards are really good past 10 streaks. Or 10 wins. Like, you get the guaranteed cookie, right? That guaranteed lucky skill cookie is really good every single win past 10, and also getting the extra 5 tickets for EXing a new character, or up to eventually EXing a new character is also really good. Just at least far better than high score event and damage challenge rewards. I could definitely agree with this though. I just wanted to go through this last one here because we already hit the bottom, so sure. Super way need more like super bad. Haha. We need more permanent content that isn't just ultimate battles, something that isn't hard as than maybe around the level of the challenge Sigma Suit Alt Giovanni event. I could agree with this too. I think that they should definitely make more permanent, like, difficult quote-unquote content. Ultimate battles are fine. I don't think that they're a bad thing in the game. It's not like these rewards are ever bad, right? Like, it's not that big a deal because it's permanent content. You still get 300 gems, whatever. But I can definitely see, like, wanting more permanent content that actually, is still, like, good. Because a lot of this game revolves around weekly resetting content or limited time content. There's nothing that is permanent that people can just go back to and, put on, like, the back burner and eventually get back to and actually do for some decent rewards for the most part. Most of that would be, like, the Battle Vila or, again, Ultimate Battles, which are really tough, usually. Anyway, whatever. That's my thoughts. That's the hot takes. A lot of y'all put cult takes. Next time, let's make these a little bit more spicy, right? But I guess everyone's kind of just agreeable in this game, so fair enough. All right, so I'll see you later. Hope y'all enjoyed. That was the hot takes video. Let me know if you've got any more. I'll potentially make another video. So yeah, see you later. Hope y'all enjoyed. Peace.